Welcome back to this Thanksgiving series where today I am going to be making a number of my Thanksgiving dishes, including the turkey, my infamous pumpkin soup, and the gluten-free gravy. So today we're cooking the bird, and I did not get my first choice, but I did buy this organic turkey that I got at Costco. It wasn't my first choice, but I waited too long, even though I talked to all of you about prepping ahead of time. So bear with me. We're going to go through and just do the basics of how to cook the turkey. Now, I've already mentioned that my mom taught me a little trick years ago of putting the turkey on at 2 in the morning at Thanksgiving. She was just like me, always woke up in the middle of the night. And so she would go put the turkey on, and then it was very slow cooked. She cooked it at about 250 degrees. It never dried out. It was always perfect. And that's something that I've done now for a number of years. Today is actually the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and I'm cooking the turkey. I've also talked in my prepping video about doing that just like the restaurants do. You know, restaurants and resorts, they don't cook every single turkey day of. So I like to cook my turkey, let it rest, pull out all the drippings for the gravy, and then it's done. I can pop it back in the oven. I allow it to fully cool, and then I can carve it up without burning my fingers and all the craziness of the rush that we typically experience on Thanksgiving Day. I store it in the refrigerator, and then I get it out. I very slowly and gently warm it in the oven, and I make my gravy ahead of time, and it makes Thanksgiving Day and the mealtime amazing. So let's get cooking turkey. Anytime you're prepping and cooking for the holidays, it's a great idea to start with some of your basics. So certainly for my turkey, for my pumpkin soup, and many other things, onions are a big part of it. So I have 4 out here, and I'm just going to slice and dice all of those up. They don't have to be super small for my pumpkin soup, and they don't have to be super small for what I'm going to stuff inside the turkey. But I'll be using them for lots of different dishes throughout the holiday season. And then, of course, fresh garlic. We will be starting with that. I have rosemary, fresh out of my garden, for my turkey, not only to cook on it, but to garnish it with. And then typically I have sage, but unfortunately my sage did not make it through the summer season here in Phoenix. So I will be replanting sage. And then, of course, lemon. I like to squeeze it on top of the turkey, as well as cut it up and stuff it inside the cavity. I don't personally put stuffing inside my turkey and cook it. It's just not my thing. I know a lot of people do and they love it. I'm not making it right or wrong. It's just not my thing. All right, I have my trusty old pan that I use just a couple of times a year that's specifically for my turkey. I'm just going to drizzle it a little bit with olive oil, okay, just to kind of roll it around in there so that it doesn't stick so much. You can choose to use olive oil or not, or anything that you want to use. You know me, I avoid seed oils, so I would only use an olive oil, a avocado oil, or a coconut oil. In this case, I am slow cooking my turkey, so no need to use an oil that does better with high heat, such as avocado or coconut oil. All right, your next step, of course, is to open up your turkey, rinse it all off, clean it up, and pat it dry. And then I put it in my roasting pan that I already have drizzled with the olive oil. I'm going to drizzle the top of it with just a little bit more olive oil. Again, this is optional. It's just what I do while I drop everything. And then I'm just going to lightly season it. I have pepper, fresh ground pepper here that I'm just going to put over it. Salt it. Now, as I've mentioned in the past, I start it breast side down. So I'm going to go ahead and stuff what I'm putting into it. I mentioned I'm going to put some onion, just some cut up onion, stuff it into the cavity. Okay, super simple. You just stuff it right into that cavity. For those of you who are new, I've got some garlic cloves that I'm putting in there, the rest of my onion. And then I'm going to drizzle the top with lemon. Just squeeze that lemon out there. A few little seeds. If you get seeds, no worries. Just drop them off. Then I'm going to put that lemon rind, the whole thing in there. I'm going to turn the bird over because, as I mentioned, I'm doing it breast side down to begin with. Salt it. Season it. And then I'm going to sprinkle the top, again, squirt it with my lemon. Pop it in the cavity. And now my fresh rosemary that I mentioned, I'm just going to put a couple of them across the top. Again, stick some in the cavity. And then when I turn it over, breast side up, then I will have some other. I'm going to pop it into an oven at 250 degrees. I'm going to slow cook it all day. It's going to stay very moist and not dried out at all. And I promise you, it's going to be a crowd pleaser and amazing. I totally forgot to put my sage on. So I'm opening up the oven, sprinkling it on there, and I just wanted to share that so that you don't forget sage too. As I mentioned, I typically like to use fresh sage out of my garden, but the summer heat in Scottsdale killed it this year. And here we have one perfectly cooked turkey. Now I'll just allow it to cool, and then I can carve it. I can use the drippings and make all the good stuff. And if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe, give me a like, a comment, and grab my guide for recipes, label reading, ingredients, and shopping guides and more at lowertoxiclife.com. Watch the Thanksgiving holiday playlist that's coming up next.